finally, I want to look at recurring invoices. So we have recurring invoices for things like rent, your insurance payments, things like that. Either you can set an alert in your Outlook or you set an alert on your SAP to tell you, hey, do an invoice for rent, or you can just create a recurring invoice that will generate on a given date by you. So you can do them for sales on the sales side and the purchasing side. So I'm going to do one for purchase orders for rent. So the first thing I need to do is create a recurring transaction template. You see it down here in purchasing, and under sales it's the same. Recurring transaction template. And as a matter of fact, you can open from either side because the first part here is your list of templates. So as you see, I've created a couple of different rent ones. I'm going to create a third rent one. I'm going to name it Rent 2. And the type, I'm going to make AP invoice. Now the doc number. So of course, we don't have a doc number yet because we haven't created one. So what I'm going to do with my mouse clicked in this field, I'm just going to click Tab. And of course, it brings up a list of documents that already exist. For other recurring invoices, I'm going to click New. So now we have the AP Invoices template for Rent 2. So I need to pick a vendor. So I'm going to use our good friends Acme Associates. And of course with rent, you're probably going to have it as a service type invoice because you don't actually have an item called rent and you're not bringing in for inventory. So I'm going to, in the description, just type in rent. We'll use my office. And of course, you choose your GL. I'm going to do a shortcut here and just, it's not letting me. Now you finance people, don't worry, I'm just going to click one. I don't know what it is, but let's just say it's the rent GL. So of course, any other fields you need, if it's taxable, for example. In the total column, I'm going to put the total of what my rent payment is. So I'm going to exaggerate a bit, and I'm going to say it's $25,000 a month. And for whatever reason, I'm set here for a discount. I'm going to set it to 0, so no discount for my rent. You don't need to add a posting date, a due date, or a doc date when you go into the recurring invoices themselves, so create them on there. So I think I'm good here. And I'm going to click Add. So now we have AP Invoices, and it's got a doc number. Our recurrence period is going to be monthly, of course, and it's going to be on the first of the month. So what you see over here is a start date. So let's say you don't need to actually start this until May. I can change this to May. So I'm going to change it to May 1st. So now you see the next executable date is May 1st. And you can set a valid until date, which say, you were making a payment on a car, for example. You could set 60 payments of a car for a 5-year loan. You could do something like that. I'm going to leave it open for this. And click Update. So now my template is created. So since I have the template starting in May, we're not going to be able to see it now. But if I go into recurring transactions, here's a list of all the recurring transactions that I haven't run yet. So normally when you log into SAP, if you have recurring transactions set up, and if they're to be executed, you'll get an alert right away saying, here's a recurring transaction, do you want to execute them? And you can execute them right there on the spot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose the one that's supposed to go on the 11th and the one from February. And down here in the message and alert, you can, if you have any errors, you can continue, or you can skip to the next transaction, or you can request user confirmation if there's a problem. So I am just going to click Execute and skip to the next transaction if there's an issue, and you have this message come up. So it looks like this first invoice here went through, but the second one was in euros, and of course I didn't have an exchange rate. So you'd get an error here. You could go through, add your exchange rate, and then execute it again, and it will go through. So that's a real easy way to handle recurring invoices.